Have you ever tasted a dish, listened to a song, or heard a voice, and instantly felt like you were teleported back home? For me, that feeling comes when I taste ropa vieja, listen to the rhythm of salsa music, or listen to my grandmother's voice. Today, I'll share with you my Cuban culture and how it has shaped who I am today, starting with traditions and how they have filled my life with celebration and meaning. Then I'll move on to language, which is the Cuban language of Spanish, and how that has connected me to my heritage. And lastly, I'll talk about my family's story and how it has instilled in me resilience and strength. First, I'll start with the heart of it all, traditions. I'll start with Noche Buena. This is a tradition that is celebrated on December 24th, which seems kind of weird because in America and other traditions, Christmas is celebrated on December 25th. Now, on Noche Buena, many Cuban Americans, including my family, go to church, then go back to whoever's family they're celebrating at, and then open gifts when the clock hits midnight. Another tradition that is celebrated in my family and many Cuban cultures, and the Cuban culture, is something called comparsa. In Cuba, this is a festival-like parade with musicians and dancers going across the street and celebrating holidays like New Year's and Carnival. This comparsa, in my experience and where I lived, is where little kids, including myself when I was younger, dance in elaborate costumes to salsa music for New Year's Eve. And when the clock hits midnight, we eat 12 grapes to symbolize and hope for prosperity and good luck in the next 12 months. Now, the last tradition that I want to talk to you about is the traditional food. Something that I've grown up with and many other Cubans have in their diet is a traditional dish called pollo empanizado. This is breaded chicken and it is very good. Another dish is something called ropa vieja, and this is stew in something called sofrito, which is like a tomato base with meat. And these can be enjoyed with rice and black beans, which is called congri, or it could be eaten with another dish like platanitos maduros, which is just sweet fried bananas. So moving on from traditions, I'll talk to you about the language and how it has connected me to my heritage. So Spanish was my first language. It was what I used to communicate with my siblings and my parents and my grandmother. It was my main source of communication with my grandmother, and it taught me the stories that I learned from her. Spanish is also useful in school. I recently just graduated, and in my senior year, I took AP Spanish language. It's also useful in my job when communicating with customers who don't speak English. And it's useful when I am trying to pass on my culture to my little sister who is 3 years old. I think just speaking Spanish ties her with my family, my grandmother, and where she's from. And lastly, I'll talk about my family's story and the resilience that it has taught me. So my grandmother came from Cuba when she was 16 to America. She was escaping communist Cuba and fleeing Fidel Castro's communist country. She came alone, and she, through hard work, she found success as a realtor. She also raised 4 successful boys, and just her story has taught me that hard work and dedication pay off in the end, and that it is important to always stay strong no matter what life throws at you. So in conclusion, I talked about the traditions of my Cuban culture. I talked about the Spanish language and my family's story that has taught me resilience. Now, even though you may not be Cuban, you may not all be Cuban, I think that our culture and our traditions are important for making us who we are today. They're important to shape us and set us in an optimistic and bright future. Thank you for listening.